This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys.
We're on holidays at the moment.
Oh, I'm loving it.
And
Sick.
loving it.
We've gotten a collection of some of the finest work that we've done throughout the year. Oh, guys.
And then we padded it out with some rubbish.
Don't undersell it, no.
Yeah.
Don't undersell it.
And this, of course, being a live broadcast. Today's best bits are all about...
From the Vault 2017.
Couldn't have said it better
yeah.
myself.
Oh, my God. Right to the point you are.
Enjoy.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
G'day, Coxie.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning, Professor.
Professor.
No, I prefer the original one.
Yeah, Big Coxie.
Yeah.
You're headed back to Perth. We're excited about that. What
Yep.
can we look forward to in this tour?
Oh, well, I've got a significantly better technology now, which is, so I just did a tour in the UK where we used these huge state-of-the-art LED high-resolution screens.
Yeah.
30 metres, 40 metres wide. And it amazed me how good the images that we have from things like the Hubble Space Telescope and the space probes we have out there around the planets, how unbelievably high resolution and vivid they are. And we're used to seeing them on computer monitors, and it doesn't do them justice.
Yeah, right.
And so I said to my poor promoter here in Australia, I want these massive LED screens. And in the UK, I'm doing 9,000 people a night, so you can afford them. Here, the venues are a bit smaller, so you kind of can't quite afford them, but we've got them anyway.
Oh, my God. Now we're talking, buddy.
Can we get there early and watch like Stranger Things on Netflix?
I did. I've got my son is 8 years old, and at Wembley Arena, which was 9,000 people before the show, I set up Minecraft for him, with his whole Minecraft world on it, and he sat in the middle of this arena with a 50-metre wide screen.
You're the greatest dad ever.
Oh,
that's brilliant.
But yeah, so you could come down before and we'll stick a film on.
Yeah,
that sounds
Bring a
brilliant.
beer.
I love that. I'll bring the beer, mate.
Hey, Coxie, this is quite amazing. Obviously, you've lived the life of a rock star, but you are doing this in the Science Forum. You like sell out shows that are breaking world records.
Yeah, it makes me feel happy for humanity in a sense that people will come and buy tickets to sit there and listen to cosmology and talk about the future of the universe. I'm mainly talking about the future of the universe in this show, which is, I'll give one spoiler away. It's a bit bleak.
It's all going to end. It's all going to end.
It's not going to end, but there's not going to be much in it in the far future.
Oh, really?
Okay, thanks for talking to us.
It's all going to kind of evaporate away into just radiation and nothing else.
So should we bother paying off our credit cards?
Well, I mean, if you can...
How many weeks away is this?
About, let's say 10 trillion years before the next...
Oh, my God!
Before the stars stop shining.
Oh, that's
Before all the
right.
stars
I'll be gone.
When I hear stuff like that, it's like, why even bother making the bed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
10 trillion years not long enough for you to make the bed.
Nah, come on. Hey,
trillion years.
I'm glad I got you on here because I know you've worked on it and within it, or I don't know how it works.
Oh, I wanted to ask about this too.
The Large Hadron Collider. Did that so it costs how much money, and it's so big, and I know that they were trying to create the Big Bang and all that sort of stuff. Did it do anything?
So it's 27 kilometres in circumference.
Yeah.
So it's a very big thing. Most of it's in France, some of it's in Switzerland. It wouldn't fit in one country.
It wouldn't fit in Switzerland.
27 kilometres.
Yeah.
And what it did, one of the things it was built to do was see whether this thing called the Higgs particle, which would have been predicted in the 1960s, whether it really is there, and it discovered it.
Higgs boson, isn't it? I remember that.
Boson.
I remember that. I learnt science.
Nathan's watched a lot of Big Bang Theory, so he's good to go.
Yeah. So that thing's responsible for the origin of mass. So if you look at you've got your hand in front of you. Ultimately, the reason that exists and is a solid thing is because of the Higgs boson.
That's bloody
Same
brilliant.
applies to
Thank you,
Higgs. Yes, thank you. Hey, I remember there being a bit of contention about the Large Hadron Collider because there was, at the time when they said we're going to turn it on, everybody thought the planet might end. Was there a real risk that they didn't seem to know what could potentially happen?
Or was it too YK panic?
No, Absolutely, it was just completely invented.
Right.
The reason it took us by surprise is because we'd never heard anything so stupid or imagined that anyone would say anything so stupid. Basically.
You're right.
So that's why it took us a while to respond. It's like, what are these people talking about? I mean, the way we've got these things called protons in there that go round, which are little atomic nuclei of hydrogen, and they go round at 99.999999% speed of light. So they go round the 27 kilometres 11,000 times a second.
Right.
And they collide together. And in those collisions, you make the energies are similar to those that were present a billionth of a second after the Big Bang. So that sounds a bit dangerous, you think. But actually, the amount of energy, if you add it up, is the energy of a mosquito hitting you in the face.
Oh!
So it's not a lot. It's just in a very small region.
And people didn't want to go and switch it on.
Yeah.
And you switch it on.
Hate mosquitoes.
But knowing this information, what has it helped us with?
Well, CERN has a long history of producing spin-off technologies that we're all familiar with, actually. So one of them is the World Wide Web, which was CERN.
The
other one, a lot of medical imaging technology. So if you go for a scan, a lot of that technology, all of it really came from particle physics.
Okay.
But in terms of the knowledge that we acquire there, you don't know. What the history of science tells you is that finding things out about the way that nature works tends to be useful, which is not surprising. We're part of this universe, and understanding it better tends to lead to tremendous things. The classic example is the discovery of the electron, and a very famous quote after it had been discovered when a politician said, "What use is this?" And the scientist said, "Well, I don't know, but I'm sure you'll tax it." within about 10 years, we had electricity.
Yeah, right.
These things ultimately lead to great advances.
That's awesome.
Are you friends with Elon Musk?
I met him recently, actually.
Yeah. He's so interesting at the moment. He's like you. He's got sort of the same status as you, as he's bled up from science over into popular culture. And
He's got a bit more dosh.
Yeah, he's got a bit more dosh. But, he wants to colonise Mars. He says that there are plans in the future for us to be able to travel around the world in basically an hour. He's doing something here in Australia with the large lithium battery in South Australia.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
So what do you think about his plans?
Oh, I think he's remarkable. And SpaceX, you've got to remember, he says these things that sound a bit crazy, like I'm going to go to Mars within the next 10 years.
Yes.
But he's built a reusable rocket that flies to the space station and lands again. And he said to me, actually, imagine, if you talk about opening up space, imagine, so I flew down yesterday from London to Sydney.
Yeah.
Imagine when you land, that you all get off the plane and then you blow it up. Imagine how expensive that ticket would be. But that's what we've always done.
Yeah,
rockets.
It'd be cheaper if you got it on Webjet, though.
So his can come back, no problem at all.
Yeah, but so now we've got reusable rockets. Those dreams of building a spacefaring civilization become a reality.
You're right, because now it's becoming close to being a spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we see in the movies where it comes down the lands and it takes off again.
Are you watching the new Star Trek Discovery?
I love it.
Isn't it so good?
I think it's brilliant. I'm missing some of it while I'm here, actually, because I've only seen the first 5, so
What
I haven't seen episode
did you
6.
think about them dropping the F-bomb on it?
It's fine, isn't it?
Me too.
That's
That's
not
what I
my
say.
biggest concern.
Scientists swear, don't they?
Scientists do. They go
All the
off.
time. It's really difficult. It's frustrating understanding nature.
Hey, Coxie.
It's really difficult.
On nature, right, we tend to have a laugh most morning checking out the stars, of everyone's
bit of horoscope
astrology
action.
and stuff like that. Can any of that be real?
Astrology?
But, joining up these
No,
stars and saying,
horoscopes.
your horoscope, you're going to have a great day because of these stars.
It's drivel.
Joanne M. Moore from the paper is going to be so upset.
Yeah, just all made up.
Hang on, what star sign are you, Brian?
I've no idea and I don't care.
Oh,
You have no idea. Come on.
I don't know.
When's your birthday?
March.
March
the third.
what? The 3rd. You're a Pisces.
Yeah, but even that's nonsense, because the point is that the sun, it's based on the idea the sun is in the constellation of Pisces on the day that you're born, but it isn't, because it's all moved around since all that. So I think
That's such a Piscean thing to say.
in the neighbouring one.
Yeah, you're
This is
such a
baseless,
Pisces.
totally baseless drivel.
Yeah, but are you having a 3-star day today?
One of the biggest the biggest complaints that was ever levied against me to a broadcaster at the BBC was from some astrologers who were very, very, very upset that I said that it was all nonsense. And it went on for ages, actually, their complaints. They still complain, I think, on Twitter, but I blocked them all.
That is
nice
so
point. Well
funny.
They didn't see that coming, did they?
No, exactly.
Okay, I want to know about science snobbery. As we see on Big Bang Theory, the physicists look down on Howard being an engineer.
Yes.
Is there such thing as science snobbery?
I don't think so. I joke around sometimes, that biology is one of the arts. But actually, but it isn't. It isn't. And without the engineers, we wouldn't be able to build things like the Large Hadron Collider. So it's all just
they've got their place.
It's so funny because when everyone says they're doing a Bachelor of Arts, everyone goes,
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do that with?
Well, Coxie, you did your doctorate of philosophy degree in high energy particle physics.
Yeah.
How do you make that sound interesting? Because that's just a lot of words. You know what I mean? And I know nothing about them.
That's why I started talking about astronomy.
Yeah.
No, it is. We talked about the Higgs boson. That captured everyone's imagination. That's particle physics.
But you've got to come up with a different idea. That's the only way it gets...
It's the study of... particle physics is the study of what everything's made of and how it sticks together, and it's absolutely fundamental. So I think it is fascinating stuff. The thing is, we don't have great pictures, though. So, subatomic particles, really difficult.
They're not very photogenic. It's not Insta-worthy.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to know about artificial intelligence. We know a fair few people lately have been saying how scary it is and how we should watch our backs because the robots are coming, Skynet. Well, what do you think?
Well, Elon Musk mentioned this, didn't he? I think what he meant was that, so imagine that, I don't think that, the Terminator or Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to come at any point and kill us all. But if you imagine that you had an algorithm that you decided to, say, a nuclear war can be launched by a computer.
Yeah.
So imagine that you decide to do that rather than a human with a button.
Yeah.
Then that then becomes very dangerous because you've removed humanity and morality from the decision. And I think there are times in the past where logically you might have launched your nuclear missiles. Or if you just had an algorithm that you'd written.
Because I've read that people are saying that if a artificial intelligence was to look at humans and look at how we are right now, they would say we're evil. We need
to destroy them.
Yeah. Well, things become black and white then.
Yeah.
There's no grey.
Yeah, so I think that's the real danger. And the other danger is that, which we see already, that automation, so robots, take our jobs.
Yeah.
And then people become unemployed. And the answer to that is that I was at a conference the other week actually talking about this. The answer is to create more new jobs by investing in research and development and creating the jobs of the future so that there are more jobs created by science than there are destroyed.
Oh, you see, I think the way forward is the robots are powered by people peddling them.
That would be would you like that job, though?
You'd have good calves, wouldn't you?
Just breed a whole race of really good cyclists.
So you have a robot radio presenter, and your job is to just
pedal it. Imagine the Tour de France. That would be over in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Who'd be peddling who?
Yeah, this is the thing. You get people peddling the robots who are peddling in the... Oh, it's too much. My brain can't handle it. Hey, we alluded to a little bit earlier that the whole idea of travelling, being able to fly, say, as you just did, London to Sydney in an hour. Is that realistic in the near future? Because I love to travel and I'd like it to be soon.
I think this is why, I mentioned Elon Musk, he's got SpaceX. There's Jeff Bezos has got a company called Blue Origin, which is a rocket company. There's Virgin Galactic with Richard Branson. I think one of the reasons they're doing this, particularly Virgin Galactic, I think, is that once you've got these vehicles that can go up into space, then there's no reason why you can't go up into space from London and come back down again to Sydney.
Turn. Yeah, right.
So once you can do it. And then it's really absolutely true. You could imagine flying to Australia in an hour.
I know, how good would that be? Because I hate long-haul flights.
Oh, yeah. It's gross.
Hey, Coxie, are we moving too fast on this stuff? Because Nathan said earlier on, it's a little bit scary to think about what's coming. Are we getting there too quickly?
It's possible. I actually did a little radio program about Robert Oppenheimer, he's famous for running the Manhattan Project in the 1940s, and he gave a series of lectures in 1953, and he was surprised that we still existed because he thought that the power that engineers and scientists had given to the politicians was so great that the politicians wouldn't be able to control it. So he thought that there was an inevitable use of nuclear weapons, and it hasn't happened. So
North Korea have...
Maybe he had a premonition about Trump getting into power.
Well, exactly.
So
but it's probably the world is less dangerous now than it was in the 50s, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think that, that you're right, that what we demand, that as we generate more new knowledge and put more power in the hands of humanity, what we have to demand is that politicians, and therefore the public who vote the politicians in, have the understanding and are educated and have an idea of how to try and manage this knowledge. And I think that's the main challenge. To me, is how do we make the political system better?
Yeah. I'm really excited to see your answer on this final question, and a lot of people will argue back and forth. It's one of the biggest contentious issues of our day. Do you use an iPhone or a Samsung?
Or Google?
I have an iPhone at the moment, although I have had a Samsung in the past.
Oh, so you would have liked the, I guess, the photos that the Samsung takes because everyone talked about the camera, but what about the qualities of the iPhone? I mean, you kind of sit on the fence there, big guy.
Well, no, but I'm not sitting on the fence. It's just fact.
But you're making us think you go both ways. I want to know:
you swing? You're a swinger.
Is the iPhone where you're sitting? Is that where we're building the house?
I like the iPhone at the moment. I got an iPhone 7 Plus.
Oh, me too.
Shouldn't they have sent you? I thought you would have been the one that would have been sent the iPhone 10. I thought straight away you would have been sent that sort of stuff.
Are you saying that if I say that the iPhone is by far the best phone that's ever been built, it's actually a contribution to the future of civilization, then Apple might send me an iPhone 10.
You know what? Well, every city that you rock up to in Australia, you'll get one shipped from the Apple store.
All right, Apple, if you're listening, then I think this is the greatest contribution to human civilization since the investment of the wheel.
There's a bit of opportunity too, because you've got the X at the end of your name. To tie in nicely.
Yeah, the iPhone Cox.
Yes. Well, we've seen those pictures.
On that note,
each to their own.
Professor Brian Cox will be appearing at Riverside Theatre at PCEC November 16th. Tickets from ticketek.com.au. It is always a pleasure.
Love talking to you, mate.
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
There's an adorable new movie out.
I love it.
Made here in WA. It's called 3 Summers. The director and the writer is none other than the legend himself, Ben Elton, in the house.
I am in the house. I'm in the studio in the house. Lovely to be back at Nova.
You know
Good
what?
to see you, Ben.
Automatically, Ben, and this is a lot of people, when they hear Australian movie, they'll roll their eyes and go, this is going to be rubbish. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect from 3 Summers, but I walked out feeling so happy. I thought it was super funny and super cute. And the storyline was great.
And great cast.
Great cast.
You had everybody in there, mate.
Well, not everybody. I mean, not you three for a start.
Well,
and I think I should next time because there's lots and lots of great WA actors and personalities in it.
Yeah.
Shot in West Australia using predominantly West Australians, and but yes, some from over east. Magda Zabansky and Michael Caton, and Jackie McKenzie, Deb Mailman, John Waters. So yeah, there's a lot of stories in this movie. It's a multi-story piece, so lots of comedy to be had and lots of great characters.
And Magda was absolutely fantastic. She plays the role of
she ties it all together.
As a radio host called Queenie. She does a great job.
Yeah, she it's all set at this kind of fictitious version of the Fairbridge Festival, a little Aussie rural folk festival. They happen all over the country. I've been touring with the movie now for a month, and everyone says, were you at our festival? But yeah, Magda's the local regional legend in her own lunchtime radio personality who tries to meddle in all these little stories that are mingling in with each other. She's amazing.
I love folk music festivals and stuff like that. Ever since we saw years ago A Mighty Wind.
That's one of the great films. I love it.
So funny. I just think that whole world is just hilarious, especially from one of the instruments which is showcased in this movie, the theremin. It's so funny.
It's so ludicrous ludicrously niche.
And I never knew that I would love a theremin and fiddle combination.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
Those two instruments, literally, they love each other so much, it is bonking to music.
Yeah.
The theremin, for your listeners who don't know, is a strange electronic instrument that you play without touching it.
Yeah.
It's very much a niche instrument, and that's why the central romance in this movie, because it's set at a music festival, just about the people who go to festivals, which could be anyone, because we all like music, left, right, whatever your gender, identification, sexuality, we're all equal in the queue to the Portaloos. Yes. And that's really what the movie's about everyone bumping into each other and sort of affecting each other's lives.
It gave me the same warm feeling that I get and Natalie would get as well from the Gilmore Girls. Have you ever watched the Gilmore Girls?
To be honest, I haven't. That one's passed me by.
Ben Elton.
Is that a lovely thing that I should be looking out for?
It's some very fast-paced dialogue, which you'd be impressed with.
It is.
Snappy dialogue, yeah.
And it seems like the episode version of this.
Oh, good. Well, if it's good,
Mm.
I shall look it out. Last thing we managed to watch on telly actually was the Handmaiden's Tale, which is
Oh,
a little
I
heavy.
tried that.
How is not
that?
fast, snappy dialogue. Kind of a lot of
Dystopian
nastiness.
misery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dystopian misery. That's it. Yeah.
Hey, what do all your friends in the UK think of you living here? What do they just, because Perth is this thing where people have heard of it but don't know much about it.
Look, I'm in Britain a lot. I've got a new sitcom on the BBC, so I'm still working over there. But the great thing is I've shown this movie just to a couple of mates over there. And I showed it to Jennifer Saunders and Aid Edmondson, who we had dinner, and I just showed it to them on a computer. And at the end of it, Jennifer said something really touching, rather moved me. She said, "Gosh, Ben, you really have become an Aussie, haven't you?"
Oh,
and I
that's
thought
high
that really
praise.
was lovely. Because and she even said, you should come back and make a nice film about real people here. Because, with so many movies about, superheroes or drug dealers, it's either crime car chases or fantasy figures, and there's so much more fun to be had out of reality than there is, frankly, about yet another criminal, sexual, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All this nastiness on screen, or else silly fantasies, which can be fun, but I think it's also good to have a film about real people. And
It does. It feels like grassroots sort of stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Ben, living in and around here, which you've been for a long, long time down towards Freeway, you get passionate about the issues as well. Because I remember speaking to you, and Row 8 was an issue before the last thing, and you were really quite passionate about this as well, and what goes on in Freo.
I feel very strong. Well, I mean, I'm. People often say, "Oh, you put a lot of issues in your work." Is that because you're trying to tell us something? I say, no, I'm just passionate about stuff, and that comes out of me as an artist. I like to. I like to be a part of a community, my local community, national community, and global community. So Row 8 was a thing that it reflected on all my feelings about traffic and management and our love affair with the car. We all enjoy cars, but, we have to get a grip about this. The only way to do it is public transport. So, I feel passionate about these things, but I only use them to feed my art. I'm not a politician. I'm not a preacher. If I put my views and my passions into my work, that's to, provoke interest, conversation, intrigue, laughter.
We all listen to you because you're so smart. We just know. Can you do something, please, about the rising electricity prices in this state?
Oh my goodness! I tell you what, WA is expensive. Not just electricity. I've just spent 3 weeks in the east, and you really notice how much more we pay for everything.
And
Literally
things
everything.
like eating out,
a cup of coffee.
Extraordinary,
Honestly,
isn't it?
I don't know why that is. I mean, it's not.
I know.
We live in a global. I mean, when I'm in my house in England, in Sussex, so you go to Tesco's and you're buying beans from Kenya. They don't cost any more just because they're from Kenya. I mean, it's not good environmentally. But why? I don't buy this argument. It's just because we're quite a long way away.
I know, it doesn't take that much fuel for you to drive that over.
Exactly. I don't quite get it. But anyway.
and also we grow a lot of things here.
We do. We grow lots
Why
of
are we paying
things.
more for that?
In fact, my father-in-law grows quite a few things in the back of our garden.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun.
So death is sad. We know that. It's upsetting. But sometimes there can be a silver lining to that very dark cloud.
Yes, a windfall perhaps.
Yes.
We are pulling that silver lining into the light and possibly having a laugh about it.
Finding out the benefits when somebody passes away. Inspired by Alana, who told us yesterday that her family didn't invite her to family functions because she was the odd number, being single. And so once Grandpa fell off the perch, she got invited.
Alana is very upset that he's gone, but it worked out really well
on
for
the
her.
upside-
Michelle's in Huntingdale. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Nathan. How are you going?
Yeah, okay.
Michelle, now we know it's upsetting when somebody passes away, but did you reap a benefit?
I did. My sister died in a motorcycle accident when she was 22, which was really,
how
really
awful.
devastating.
It is.
But a year before that, I'd been nagging my husband for a dog, and he had said, we can have one, but it has to be a female. It has to be a rescue dog. I don't want a puppy.
Yep.
And it has to be short-haired. So we got some super money from Steph's estate.
Yeah.
And I went and bought a male Old English sheepdog.
You bought
Michelle, the complete opposite.
You're basically Sophie Monk and The Bachelorette. You chose everything you weren't going in for.
Yeah, and he was awesome. So, yeah. And my husband really didn't like him until we used to go out and he saw that he was this big chick magnet. So then he really liked him after that.
Yes.
Beautiful dog.
There you go.
Michelle, they are beautiful dogs.
See,
I like
that
them.
is
You've gained a dog. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Oh, thank you for that delightful silver lining, Michelle. That's brilliant. Let's go to Carlos in Baldivis. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, Carlos. Was there an upside when somebody passed away?
Oh, well, yes, it did. It was years ago when I was in my junior years in the military, in the Navy in the U.S. I actually had a mate that actually unfortunately passed away, and I was very close. We went all to his funeral, and I actually scored a date for a whole week.
You what?
Scored a date.
You picked up at his funeral.
I picked up a chick for a whole week, yeah.
Was she alive?
Was it?
It is Halloween.
Or was it the body in the next
wasn't
room?
The grieving widow, was it?
No, let's not go there.
Weekend at Bernice's.
She was very alive and very interesting too. But yeah, it was a very interesting week.
Oh,
wow.
So was it
Really
a love
memorable one.
Was it a love him and leave him week? Was it? Or was it just a week of yes? Was it?
There was a week of love him and leave him. Yeah, pretty much a yes of everything.
There you go.
Good score, Carlos.
And that's the way your friend would wanted that week to have gone.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
No, exactly.
No, there's no doubt about that.
You see, we just spoke to Michelle and Carlos, and neither of them are bad people.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
We're very positive, lovely people. So that's why we're trying to find the silver lining in somebody else's passing away.
Yes, we are talking about the benefits of somebody dying for you.
For Nathan, it was getting a room to himself.
Yeah, even though I would 1,000 times wish
obviously.
for him to be back. And for Alana, it was her grandfather dying, which meant that she wasn't the single person out on tables and stuff at family functions.
She
now
was
even
then
number.
she was invited to family functions because it was now an even number, so that was all good.
Why are we speaking so
Because we know we're bad people.
We're speaking like we're out awake.
Because we know we're bad people, but we're trying to cover it up.
And they just had a great life.
Rodney in Brabham. Hi, Rod.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, Rodney.
Okay, you've brought it up a bit.
Yes.
Hi, Rodney.
Rod. Now, who passed away and what was the benefit?
Okay, so my nana passed away a while ago, which is really, really sad.
Yes.
But the benefit was at the time I was living in Albany by myself, and my sofa was a single bed, and I had no washing machine and no other furniture. So when she passed away, I inherited her washing machine, so I didn't have to use my mother's anymore.
Yes.
And a lounge suite, so I could have a sofa and chair and my bed in my actual bedroom when my friends came over.
Rodney, wait, hold up. You inherited your nana's bed?
No, I took a single bed out of my lounge room
good,
and
just
put it
checking.
in my bedroom.
Yes.
You scared me for a second.
Rodney, that's a good score, Rod.
Well, that's a great time.
The
That's a
washing
great
machine
time.
especially, that's just brilliant. Changes your life, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Because your house was furnished by an old lady stuff, were people expecting like an old woman to walk out of the kitchen whenever they came over?
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
Was it the sort of lounge suite that your nana would own?
Yeah, it was one that you would probably find in a second-hand shop that was from the 50s or something ridiculous like that.
I love it.
Lovely shade of green.
And of course, you'd love to have your nana back, but you couldn't sit on
Yes.
it. So.
Well said, Nathan. Thanks, Rod. Let's go to Karis in Byford. Hello.
Morning, everyone.
Hi, Karis. Now we know you're a very good person.
Of course you are.
I try to be.
But when somebody passed away, did you benefit in some way?
Ever so slightly. I was on maternity leave with my my first child, my only child, and about 2 days before I was about to go back to work, which I really wasn't ready to do and was having panic attacks about, my brother passed away.
Oh, sorry.
And I ended up with 2 more weeks maternity leave. Trying not to laugh.
You're really playing along beautifully this morning, Karis.
Karis, thank God you called, because if my mum's going to have a go at me, I can say, what about what Karis said? What about what Karis said?
My mum lives down south. She won't hear it.
We're putting this in Reheated on Saturday.
know it was
and it'll be on the
super
podcast,
sad.
actually, available Nathan Nat and Shaun Facebook page.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.